this evening. I hope you're all doing well. My name's Matthew, and I post videos every Monday and Friday. So if you love the tingles, then you are in the exact right place. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on all the tingles. So today's video, as you can see, we are looking at the case of Bruce McArthur. It was kindly suggested by GTASMR. Thank you so much for your suggestion. I'm actually really excited to delve into this case. It's a really popular case that there seems to be podcasts, books, movies, TV shows all about this case. A fairly recent case by all means, but an interesting one nonetheless. So let's have a look into this case. So it was January 2018 in Toronto, Canada, when residents of Malloy Crescent peered outside to see an influx of police activity in their middle-class neighbourhood. So between the years of 2010 and 2017, a total of 8 men vanished from Church and Wellesley, Toronto's LGBTQ-oriented district. This is also known as the Gay Village. However, the nation was blissfully unaware that they had found themselves victims to a prolific serial killer that had gone undetected for almost a decade. Bruce McArthur was born in Lindsay, Ontario on the 8th of October 1951. He was raised in a nondescript brick bungalow on rural Palestine Road. That's right. For generations, the McArthur family had framed and ran a foster home. Oh, I was going to say that makes no sense. It makes no sense because the family had farmed and ran a foster home. There was always kids coming and going, recalled family friend Mary Ann McEachin, MACEACHERN. Sorry. If you've watched enough of my videos now, you know I can't read. I can read, obviously, but I'm not the best. God. I need to not be so hard on myself. I'm a great reader. As an adult, McArthur settled down with his wife Janice and their 2 children. Unbeknownst to McArthur's family, he had begun having affairs with men in the 1990s. McArthur found employment as a salesman for McGregor Hosiery at Stansfield, and he purchased a family home in Oshawa in the mid to late 1990s. McArthur came out, and by 1997 he and Janice had separated. Got on her. He moved to Toronto because there was much more prevalent gay scene. Also kind of makes sense at this point. McArthur became a familiar face in the gay village where he met I honestly can't pronounce that name, and I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not going to. Originally from Sri Lanka, and the duo embarked on a romantic relationship. In 2001, McArthur pleaded guilty to attacking a man with a metal pipe. After the guilty plea, he saw Dr. Marie France Dion, a psychologist who prepared a report for his sentencing on charges of assault with a deadly weapon and assault causing bodily harm. She noticed he was embarrassed by his arrest and that he had no recollection of it. She wrote, trace of psychosis, no trace of hallucinations or delusions, no trace of mood disorder, and no trace of any personality disorder or antisocial behaviour. As a matter of fact, McArthur is well orientated in space-time, and toward people. Oriented space-time and toward people. Okay. McArthur was handed a 2-year conditional sentence and was ordered to abstain from the consumption of amyl nitrate, commonly known as poppers. He was also ordered to not be in the presence of male sex workers and not to visit a specific section of downtown Toronto that included the gay village. That did not deter McArthur, and he took up to setting up profiles online dating apps. McArthur and his partner at the time continued dating up until at least 2008. At the time, McArthur was working as a self-employed landscaper under the name Artistic Design. During the holiday season, he moonlighted as a Santa Claus for local malls. With his white hair, beard and outwardly jolly demeanour, he looked the perfect part, but behind that facade of normalcy, McArthur was concealing a deep and dark secret. In 2010, his partner vanished, and it was not until 2 years later that Project Houston was set up to investigate his disappearance, alongside the disappearance of Majid and Abdul Brazier. All 3 men were frequent visitors of the gay village and had all disappeared between 2010 and 2012. I'm going to try and pronounce it. The first his partner's name, Skandara. I butchered that, I'm so sorry. But he was last seen in the early hours of the 6th of September 2010 when he was leaving a gay bar with an unknown man. The following year, an anonymous tip came to investigators about McArthur's relationship with him. This same tipster suggested that McArthur had also known Majid. McArthur was questioned while he admitted he knew both men from the local gay scene. He denied that he was ever in a romantic relationship with him. However, he did acknowledge that Majid had once worked for him in his landscaping business, and they once had a sexual encounter. He claimed to know nothing about either disappearance, and after an 18-month investigation, Project Houston was closed due to a lack of evidence that anything criminal had taken place. Then, on the 26th of June 2017, Andrew Kinsman disappeared. He was observed on surveillance cameras climbing into a red van, and his surveillance was handed over to investigators. They were able to identify that the red van was a 2004 Dodge Caravan. A town hall meeting was held to discuss the disappearance of Andrew, as well as another gay man, Salim. The meeting brought an influx of media attention to the disappearances, and curiously, just 2 weeks later, McArthur purchased a new vehicle. As investigators would soon learn, he was the owner of a red 2004 Dodge Caravan. Another task force was set up to investigate these 2 disappearances. Project Prism investigators began looking into Andrew's background, and they discovered that on his calendar he had an engagement with Bruce scheduled. Investigators now know the brand of car involved and potential suspect's name. They just needed to somehow connect the two. Investigators saw from the Provincial Ministry of Transportation a list of 2003 and 2006 Dodge Caravans registered in Toronto. There were 6,181, but 5 were only linked to the name Bruce. Okay, I take it back if I said I don't know about this case. I do know about this case as of nearly a week. I have been watching on Netflix. I finished it now. I think there's a couple of seasons of Catching Killers, and this was one of the cases. I remember now. Yes, I do remember. They quickly discovered that Bruce McArthur was the only one who owned the 2004 model. One of the investigators who worked on the project used him recognized the name immediately. Investigators embarked on McArthur's apartment, where they obtained surveillance footage of him driving the red 2004 Dodge Caravan. They were able to trace the license plate and track it down to a wreckage yard where they seized it. A forensic examination was conducted of the vehicle, and it revealed traces of Andrew and Silem's DNA. In December, investigators acquired a search warrant from McArthur's apartment, where they found graphic photos of several men, of all of whom were deceased and posed. Yes, he took photos and posed them on his bed. It was so creepy. I mean, you don't see the photos on the Netflix, but just the idea of them, absolutely horrific. The investigators had searched the apartment covertly. He did this while he was at work, and after grim findings, they placed McArthur on surveillance. On the 18th of January 2019, they were watching over his apartment when McArthur appeared with a man. He unlocked the front door and welcomed the man inside. Investigators feared that this man could be an intended victim. They broke the door down and arrested McArthur. Yeah, I remember this. I actually, in the Netflix show, were they in the apartment and he was just about to come back with the guy, or was this the time before when they were covertly doing it? It was a close call between him coming home and the police still searching, but when they saw this man, him with this young man, they did think he was going to be the next victim. And when they broke the door down, they arrested McArthur. They found the man nude and tied to the bed, and it was quite likely that that poor guy would have been murdered. So they got him in time. So, with McArthur behind bars, the investigation would finally uncover the truth about him, that he was a predatory serial killer, and he had been killing men since 2010. He had been using his landscaping business to conceal human remains. In total, 8 bodies were found buried in various locations that were connected to McArthur, including the bodies of Skandara, Majid, Andrew, and Slim. So, as he was a landscape gardener, some of these houses were connected to like woods and fields and stuff, so he would bury these bodies in like near these people's gardens. Many of the remains were found hidden inside large plastic containers at a home on Mallory Crescent. The home owner had allowed McArthur to keep items on their property in exchange for lawn care. He was completely unaware that McArthur was using it as a dumping ground for his victims. Many of McArthur's victims were immigrants of Middle Eastern or South Asian descent. They were all members of the LGBTQ community in Toronto. Some of them were not openly gay and lived that aspect of their lives in private. Ontario Superior Court of Justice John McMahon commented on this, stating, "There is evidence that McArthur saw out and exploited these vulnerabilities to continue his crimes undetected." Bruce McArthur pleaded guilty to all 8 murders and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years. Yeah, this case was a very interesting one to watch. If you haven't watched I'm pretty sure it's called Catching Killers on Netflix. I would really suggest doing so if you're into the whole true crime thing. If you've never watched it before, or if you've watched it before, you kind of know what I'm talking about already. You know they do it in great detail. I think every episode's like an hour, and they do really interesting cases. So it's definitely one to watch. I was hooked. I think I started it last Friday and finished it Saturday. That's how into it I got. But yeah, thank you so much for this suggestion. I really enjoyed revisiting this case. If you have any other suggestions for cases you'd like me to talk about, read about, then please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments below. Or if you just want to say hi, drop a message down below and I shall respond. I just want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed, liked, and left feedback, and honestly, you've all left some of you've left some really nice comments. Well, everyone's left really nice comments. I really appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for liking and watching the videos, and yeah, if you are still awake, hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't, and if you're not and you're fast asleep, then I will let you off and you can subscribe in the morning. Hope you all sleep well. See you in my next video. Night, guys.